All right, take two on this. So, hello everyone. Welcome to a series that I'm doing. It's called the Under 20 Grab and Go Gift Ideas. Today we're going to do key fobs. These are going to be small, very compact how-to videos on how to do these, so you guys will be able to go back to them and rewatch them. I will have them here on Facebook, but I will also be downloading them and putting them on my YouTube channel with what the tutorial is about. I'm going to do a small tutorial around the same time every single day, hoping that I have the audio every single time. So there we go. So today we're going to do key fobs. Here's what you're going to need for this project. Things you're going to need for your project. You're going to need webbing and a key fob hardware. You can find those at countrybrookdesign.com. You're going to need a sublimation design, a heat press, heat tape, key fob pliers. Now, they aren't a must, but they will help. A lint roller, blowout paper, and tassels if you're feeling kind of fancy. So, what we're going to do is get right into this. We have our heat press up at 385 for 65. That's where my go-to is. I will up the temperature just a little bit because these are key fobs. They are going to they could take a little bit more heat and a little bit more pressure. Right now I am just cutting out the pieces that I'm going to need, and I'll let you know the different sizes. Okay, as you can see, I'm doing two different sizes of these key fobs. One is a smaller compact one. One's a little bit more fancy, more like a wristlet. Okay, get these all out of the way. Now, as you can see, like I said, you have two different sizes. This one's 13 inches. This one is 8 inches. I actually cut it 9 inches, and I actually cut this about 14 inches or so, and then I trim them off, and then I seal the ends when I'm done sublimating them with the lighter here. Here is the hardware that you're going to need, and these are what those pliers look like. Do you need them? No. Are they helpful? Yes. So we will have those as well. So first things first, you want to make sure that you have your blowout paper. Oops, not just random paper. Blowout paper on your heat press. You want to lint roll both sides. Do I pre-press them? No, I don't pre-press them at all. Okay. All right. So here is the smaller one. This is great for the guys because they are a smaller key fob. They don't have to be big and bulky. Where the girls, they like key fobs that can go around their wrist as wristlets. I add a piece of tape to the top and a piece of tape to the bottom. Now, if you notice, I only put it kitty corner. I don't add a lot to it. Just a couple pieces of tape. Put it on my heat press. Then we're going to go do the second one. Now, I will be doing both sides of these so that you can see what happens when you do both sides of them. No, there is no crazy off-gassing. So you put this in the center. These are about an inch thick, or an inch wide, I should say. They're not an inch thick. They're about an inch wide. And you want to make sure that you get the key fobs that go according with them. So, for instance, if this is an inch, you want this to be an inch. If this is 3/4, you want this to be 3/4, all right? Because you want them to seal at the ends proper. You don't want them hanging out or having too much of a buckle, all right? Put that on my press. I'm going to up that temperature just a little bit. Okay. And then we're going to just get some more butcher paper. You don't need a lot of butcher paper for this project, but you want at least some. You want to use a medium to firm pressure. Now, if you're going to add tassels, you can get these tassels on Amazon. Because we are doing a school theme, I think what I'm going to do is I may add for this one, being that this one's the fancy one, I'm going to add a blue one. And then they also have these nice jump rings. But because these have this big jump ring, I'm just going to slide it right onto that. This way I don't have to worry about added jump rings to this project. Put those all back. If you're looking for these, just look for tassels on Amazon and you can find a ton of them. They don't need to be sublimation to make your project look fancy. We got about 25 more seconds. And then we'll line it up and we'll do the back. Make sure you also use your heat gloves if you have them, because they do come off very, very hot. 400 degrees is a lot of heat. and I've burned enough fingerprints to know. All right, we're going to pop this up, move our paper off. What kind of heat press do I have? I have a clamshell. The clamshell I have is a fancier studio one that you can get right on Amazon. I do have a bigger fancy one. That one did come from Heat Press Nation. But you don't need a huge fancy heat press. You really just want one that can actually clamp down, one that you don't have to add your own physical pressure to. So a fancier studio one is a great option for a beginner level type of heat press. Mine is 15 by 15, and then the other one is 16 by 20 from Heat Press Nation. So there are the two designs so far, as you can see, right? As you can tell, this one is definitely smaller than that one. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put the other one, the back side on. Now for this, it's going to sound crazy, I kind of just put it on the end right here. Not because I'm worried that something's crazy going to happen. I guess I was worried that there's going to be crazy tape marks. Could you use a Pro Spray? Yeah, you could use a Pro Spray if you want to. I just choose not to use Pro Spray for my projects. I always end up with dots. Okay, just put it down on either end. And that's about it. That's as fancy as you're going to get for this. All right. And then we're going to just put it on our paper. Add the butcher paper back to the top. And then you're going to bake it off, press it, if you will, for about 65 seconds. I like a lot of heat and pressure on these because they are thick. It is a polyester webbing. So with the polyester webbing, you want to get as much color into that substrate as possible. And Country Brook Design is a great source for that. They have a variety of different sizes, and they also have the hardware as well. So if you're looking for a great go-to one-stop shop, they are a great place to go. Now for Key Fob designs, the ones that I'm doing right now are part of my senior school line that you can find at the Sassy Subber on Etsy, and it comes in a 4-pack, if you will. So you have 4 different style designs for your bang for your buck on that one. The time and temp, again, that I'm using right now is $3.95 for 65 for these. I like a little bit higher heat. I start my heat press at $3.85. I get it nice and warmed up, and then depending on the project that I'm working on, I will up or lower the temp depending on what it is I'm working on. But for the most part, I use about $3.85 for 65 for most projects. But for these, I am using a $3.95 for 65. Okay. Now these are hot. Yes, heat gloves are probably going to be a great thing right now because you've not only baked it once, but we've baked it twice. Okay. Look at the color. This is why you want to use a higher temp. It does add some really rich color to these key fobs. That is really pretty navy blue, and that yellow is definitely popping off of there. And there you go, it says Senior 2022. Nothing fancy because the kiddos really don't want it necessarily fancy. Again, this one is more of our tie-dye, agate type design. And there you go. Beautiful, right? Okay, so let's hope that I don't mess this up. Can you use other things? Yes, I'm going to show you how you can do this. First things first, this will fray. So we really don't want it to fray. You want to get it nice and melted so it doesn't fray on you at all. Please be safe when doing this. Please do not do this around small children, and do this in a well-ventilated area. Not that there will be any smells off of this. It's just anytime you burn something, you never know. So we're just going to add this to make sure it's nice and sealed. We'll do this one while we're at it. We don't want our key fob to fray at all. And sometimes it can. Okay. All right. So this is where you can use what I call your weight behind it. Put your weight into it, right? So you can go into this and put it in, okay? And then just put your hand down and push down on it, okay? Now this is what can happen is that it can definitely twist. So this is where these pliers, as you can see, will come in handy, is then you could just push them down. Okay, so there you go. Now you have Key Fob 1. Now let's work on Key Fob 2. Key Fob 2, we will put in, all right, and just gently squeeze a little bit at a time until you get it, and then a nice tight squeeze, as tight as you can with it. And then I tend to go on both sides just to give it a nice tight squeeze. So these pliers definitely come in handy. Some of them will have a plastic shield over the ends. Mine didn't come with that. Then what you want to do is you want to go in, if you want to add some fancy to this particular key fob, there you go. And just like that, you have a great under 20. Actually, these would be a great under 10 gift as well. So this is part of the under 20 line. Great grab and go. You can make some really pretty designs. Do they have to have monogramming? No. Do they have to have their name? No. Can they be fun and cool? Absolutely. So again, I'm going to bring up the product list for you, but these are the two designs. You'll be able to see pictures and all these projects in the Sassy Subber group, and I will be posting this video and more videos to come to YouTube. So find me about 4:30 every day for the next couple days as we do under 20 gifts, grab and go for your vendor shows, for your holiday stores, and so much more. Thanks for joining me.